Essentially a high school to the NBA player who now, as a restricted free agent this summer, Portland's got to make some decisions on what they'd like to pay him. They could see what their future might look like with a backcourt built around Simons. They continue.
I think I speak for everybody when I say Damian Lillard should request a trade out of Portland. Everything's just ran its course there. He's done all he can do for this franchise. Reaching the conference finals in 2019 was a pretty successful season for them. And since then, the Blazers organization has been incapable of putting a championship team around Damian Lillard, and I think everything has just ran its course. With that being said, we know how loyal Damian Lillard is, and it might take a little more for him to request a trade out of Portland. But recent trades made by this front office just shows that they're still not capable of putting talent around Damian Lillard. But Blazers fans should be more optimistic about a potential reset, because I personally believe the future of this franchise is sitting right there on the roster. A lot of people are probably aware of Anfernee Simons and his success this season, especially since Damian Lillard has been out with the abdominal injury. It's only a 20-game sample size, but Anfernee Simons has shown that he can be a very quality starting guard in this league, and at only 22 years old, he only has more room to grow. With the potential return that you could get for Damian Lillard, why not go ahead and take a chance and build with Anfernee Simons? Anfernee's career did get off to a slow start. As expected, he's playing behind Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum, so opportunities were not there early on for the young guard. 24th pick out of IMG Academy. Wasn't really expected to be much, if anything, is more of a project pick for the Blazers, but this season has shown that he has a pretty high potential in this NBA. His first 3 seasons, he averaged 3.8 points, then 8.3 points his second year, and 7.8 his third year in the league. But this season has been a totally different story for Anfernee Simons, as he's averaged just under 16 points per game on pretty good shooting splits, 44% from the field, and 39% from 3 on 6 attempts a game, while also putting up about 3.5 assists and 3 rebounds. So pretty productive. He started 21 games this season. He's doing all that in just 28 minutes a game. But this is where it gets interesting in the idea of building with Anfernee Simons as the point guard of the future for this team. In 21 games without Damian Lillard, 20.5 points per game, 5.7 assists on 45% shooting, 40% from 3 on 9 attempts per game. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, a 20-game sample size, is that enough to really determine if Anfernee Simons is worth trading Damian Lillard away? And Ant has shown us what he can do when he's got his full bag on. Remember when he dropped 43 points against the Atlanta Hawks, 7 assists, hit 9 3-pointers, and he was looking a lot like Damian Lillard in that game. Well, it might be tough to convince Blazers fans that that's the case, because Dame has been there for about a decade, and it's going to be hard for them to just let Dame go and trust in this young 22-year-old guard to lead them into the future. What I've been seeing a lot of Blazers fans wanting is to build with Anfernee and Dame still there, trade away CJ McCollum, Nurkic, and anybody else. We already seen them trade away Norman Powell and Robert Covington for basically nothing. My only issue with that theory is you're going to minimize what Anfernee can be. He's best when he has the ball in his hands. And if Dame comes back and that is the backcourt, Anfernee's not going to be able to thrive like he has without Dame, without CJ. Just for rebuilding purposes, you're going to get a lot more in return for Damian Lillard than you would for Anfernee Simons. I know we've talked about it a lot, but just imagine trading Dame away for Ben Simmons, maybe some other assets, and now you got Anfernee and Ben as your building blocks, along with Nasir Little, who's shown very good signs this season before the injury. Then just imagine if the Blazers would have kept Gary Trent, and the future backcourt of this team would be Anfernee Simons and Gary Trent Jr. Sounds like a nasty duo to me, that both are only 22 years old and would be wrecking the Western Conference for years to come. Even with that though, if the Blazers don't want to trade Dame for specifically Ben Simmons, they could probably get a lot of young assets in return from other teams. Like maybe the Celtics would be willing to sell a Jaylen Brown, or maybe the Knicks would be willing to sell RJ Barrett and some other pieces like Obi Toppin. Dame will be a commodity that a lot of teams will be willing to throw a lot of assets for. Personally, if I was a Blazers fan, I would be optimistic about a rebuild, because as long as the trades are better than the one that was made last week, I think the future of this team can be very bright, and you can maybe jumpstart a rebuild better than a lot of other teams can. Possibly the only issue with Anfernee Simons is that you might have to overpay to keep him in the offseason, because he will be a restricted free agent, and there will probably be one team that will offer him a nice offer sheet, and you'll have to match it. But with what he's shown me, with his elite shot making ability, above average playmaking ability also, and not really a bad defender. Got a 6'9" wingspan, 6'4" frame. I don't really have that much of an issue with paying him big money to keep him. I mean, hey, Portland's already paid big money to keep guys before, so why would this be any different? But hey, that's just my thoughts. I think Anfernee Simons should be the future of the Portland Trailblazers. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'm out.